Hello and welcome to the Three Amigos podcast. And it's been a crazy week for Dash this week. It's been absolutely non-stop. And I'm joined, by the two regular partners, Joel and Brian, and also now our regular guest, CoinGun, as well. How you going? How you doing, guys? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You good?
Yeah, a bit tongue-tied.
Okay. I'm actually doing fairly bad because I literally got knocked down by the very first guy in Super Punch Out, and I don't think that that's even possible for someone to lose like that.
Is that game similar to Super Punch Out?
Yeah, it's like a roof is similar to a roof, and you know how that works, like the roofs and the roofs.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a roof time.
It's been a pretty roof week. I'm not gonna lie.
You got a roof hair going on right there.
Oh yeah. So thanks for sharing with me, or letting me share with you my fro, because that's the week. This is how it's been. Let me just say that.
In other words, it's been a little bit crazy, possibly a little bit stressful, but such a fun wild ride while you're at it. Is that a correct assessment?
It wasn't even stressful. Like, that's the thing about this whole week is it came out so fluidly, like literally Mark and I, it all just kind of happened. It was a lot of planning and back and forth at the time, but it was so exciting to see it all come together. And I couldn't have been more proud, especially of Mark, and Dash Force in general. It was so good to have all you guys, to support us, and I think we killed it, and now the hard work begins. Now the real work begins. How do you go about funding $500,000 in fiat and stuff like that? So
yes, so Dash Network just voted to, it's not passed yet, but it's set to pass, voted to sponsor the Max Kaiser show for $500,000. Oh boy. And these two gentlemen right here, the one with the craziest of hair and the one with the least crazy of hair, were the primary ones.
I had hair like that at the start.
Yes, we're the primary ones behind making this happen. So yeah, shout out to them. Very good job.
But we should also just say that, it's important that people understand the pieces of the governance system, because, here we are, we're sitting now 5 days left for voting, and the proposal is in the green, but that doesn't mean that it's passed. And I think a lot of people make that misconception that just because something's passed on the blockchain, it means it's automatically going to be funded. And that isn't the case. There is still some voting to be done, and there's still some other people that could weigh in and change things. So I still want to be realistic. I don't want to, count the chickens before they hatch or anything, but we're not going to.
Isn't that what Litecoin does? They count their chicken before it hatches.
Yeah, and that's fine if they want to do that. But in our case, we have an obligation now to the network to make sure that this project is successful, and so we have to start doing our due diligence. I met with the lawyer yesterday, and I was meeting with the bank as well, just to sort of start getting the groundwork laid for all these things, so that they know what we're up to, and they know that, and we know that we're going to be successful doing it. So it's really a blessing. I can't thank the network enough. I hope they don't let my hair reflect any sort of thing to do with the professionalism of this project. I simply have just been too busy to even do anything about it. But it's for the best of Dash. This giveaway that came about for the fight, came about just as synergistically as this whole thing with Max Kaiser, because, all of a sudden we ended up in a position where I was texting and chatting with Faraz about, maybe doing some type of sponsorship in terms of the TriStar gym. And he just made a joke about, hey, we should do a giveaway or something. We used to do the Reebok Mystic Challenge. And the Reebok Mystic Challenge turned into Mystic Dash. And, some lucky winner is going to get $10,000 if they guess the right outcome of the fight tomorrow night. So it's pretty cool. It's really cool to see the wallet downloads, because the biggest thing for that campaign that I the reason I was willing to move forward with it because of the time frame and go forward with that sort of as a risk of my own was that I really felt that we had a really great opportunity to get a bunch of people downloading our wallet. And we've got this iOS and Android wallet now that's live in the App Store on both platforms, and it's just amazing. Like, it's amazing to see what we can do now on mobile with Dash. So,
well, you got a few questions in the live chat specifically regarding this. First off is, where will the extra 126,000 go? Because 500,000 was requested, but at the current price, 2,000 Dash is worth 626,000. I see CoinGun is escrowing the funds, but what will he do with this extra money?
Oh, what a great question.
Yeah, terrific. The best.
Terrific question, and I'm really glad that people are already starting to think about that. And I'm not going to give an answer straight up because at this point in time, we're still waiting for a lot of the things to fall. But what we want the network to know is that we intend on making sure that this is the start of a very, very fun and very, very advantageous relationship between the company that's going to be brokering this deal in Canada and the Dash network. So not only are we going to be absolutely cautious and very thorough with how we use those funds and apply those funds, but we've already got the planning in place to make sure that this can continue to go to the next level. Mark and I have had some really interesting discussions over the last few days as we've talked about the potential for a lot of these things. And so I do ask for some patience from the masternode owners in terms of us coming sort of back with a plan, because at this point, yes, the proposal is voted in green, but it hasn't passed yet. And so I think for us to talk about exactly what we're going to do with the money until we actually have a final value is a little bit short-sighted. That being said, I want everybody to know that we have the best intention to make sure that this money is used so well and so productively inside of this space. So that's our goal, that's our intention, and we really think that we have an opportunity to set the precedent for how funds should be used when we're in a situation like this. So it'll definitely come out in time. I want to wait for the proposal to hit, and I want to wait for the super block to hit so we can see where the Dash price is at that time. And then once we see what the total allocation of funds is, Mark and I will get together and discuss what some potential options are. And then we're going to come back and make sure we have that discussion in an open forum as well. So, at this point, it's still voting. There's some large downvotes came in today, and it's not over till it's over. So I think everybody needs to remember that with their proposals, and especially when the dollar values are changing. Like, I really hope that this proposal size doesn't have anybody else's proposal bumped out, and that would be very, very disappointing and probably quite my fault for not taking the extra effort to think about those things. And all we can do is better next time. So, I really appreciate that.
Hey, one question I had. One question that I had was, it's not that big of a deal, but it is 2,000 Dash. I'm guessing that it's not all going to be dumped at one time. It'll be kind of slowly. I mean, it's not going to. I mean, we can handle that if it was, but is there a plan to kind of slowly?
We do have a plan.
Okay, good.
We're not going to say, but that was my major concern as well going into it, and which is why I seeked the wisdom and advice from a core team member on the best way to do this, because changing up $500,000 into Dash into US dollars is quite
nuts.
Yes, so it could crash the price. However,
I don't think it would crash the price. Honestly, like, I would never be that disrespectful.
What I will say is
market dump the whole thing.
Yeah.
But with the support I've seen on the books, I saw last week an entire masternode get eaten up at 217, and it didn't even didn't even touch the market. It didn't even flinch it. So I think the hunger out there is insatiable for Dash, especially in that quantity. But that being said, I think it would be a very, very short-sighted thing to just simply dump this money onto the market, because we have contractual obligations that we need to work out between us and the production company doing this deal. And until that entire schedule is agreed upon and we have everything in writing between our lawyers and theirs that Dash is going to get what they're going to get for this money, then, you know, we're still just going to steward it. And, you know, if that means we steward it by putting the masternodes online so that they can further increase the investment and further help secure the network, then great. If that means we could do the entire conversion of 500,000 in fiat without touching the money and let it grow, that's great. There's so many different options here. You know, if we could dump it on the market, all of it, and have the fiat right away. But so we absolutely intend on giving you guys a plan, but I think it would be very short-sighted to give that plan too soon until we have a chance to see exactly how much money we're working with, exactly what the options are, and how the negotiations go with the production company. Because at the end of the day, if the production company can't agree to our terms, and that's the terms of Dash and the Dash network, then we can't in good faith move forward funding this project. And I don't want that to be seen as anything negative at all. I want that to be seen as absolute due diligence on a project this size. And I hope it's seen as a very mature thing, because we're all professionals here and we all need some time to digest this, and our lawyers need some time to work with their lawyers and make sure that everything can be done. This is not a handshake deal at all, and we're not treating it like that. So
yeah, there was one thing that I saw. I don't know if it's been removed or not, but it was on the Dash forum. And yeah, I thought there was one thing, we'll talk about it later, but there was one thing that I saw that could cause a conflict with one of the parties involved. So yeah, that's we need to.
Yeah, I'm open to discussion about it. I just want everybody to know that this is just discussion at this point. We're just talking about how things could potentially go, because that's part of how you figure out what your options are, right? Is by simply discussing the potential for things. And I just hope everybody can hear me when I say that this is simply discussion. Anything I say here should not be interpreted directly, because we haven't even had this proposal pass yet. So we're just having a nice open discussion about the potential options here and the potential for how this amazing investment is going to go forward to help Dash.
Yeah. So one thing I think I should point out for some people who are asking, what are we going to do if the money goes up or down or whatever? That's an internal kind of thing to figure out, right? As long as as far as the project, the proposal is concerned, to my knowledge, every single proposal is a request for Dash for a certain outcome, right? And so when the price of Dash goes up, the Dash amount doesn't go up. You just said, if you give me 2,000 Dash, we'll deliver this. So that obligation stands. And that's the thing, is some people, and this has been a concern in the past, some people have freaked out over, oh, you guys get paid too much. There's so much, like, this was a project for this much and then it's worth a lot now. That's like not good. Well, we realized that we just said, look, anytime a proposal owner submits a proposal, they say, we want this much Dash for the project. Will you vote for it? And if they say yes, God, that's it. And sometimes the amount goes way down, right? And I mean, that's happened before.
And that was our concern here too, right? Is we had such a large dollar value that we had to be a little bit conservative on the price. So that's how we arrived at the $250 Dash, right? Because we had to account for some sort of slippage. I mean, I can cover some of the losses, but at a certain point, like it's beyond realistic to ask for that. I mean, you know, we're taking a big risk on the network's behalf. And we're okay with that. You know, Mark and I feel like, of all the people in this space that were involved, we had a very good grasp of what was going on, and we had a very level head about it all. And it was honestly, it was quite neat to be through that whole experience with Mark and just see that when we are interfacing with these people on a very, very professional level, you know, we have absolutely the skill to sit there at that table and have these discussions and even bring very, very valuable thoughts and objections and data to this situation. So, you know, it was a real pleasure for me to be involved both with the Dash Force guys on that, because, you know, Mark was the face of it, but we got to face it that the entire Dash Force crew, without those guys, and, you know, Brian, you in the back, and Yoel, you in the back too, you know, you guys didn't get a lot of credit for this and a lot of recognition, but I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that this was a whole team effort. This was not, you know, Mark and I doing this at all. This wasn't even me doing this. This was, you know, Dash Force brought this to the table, and Dash Force did all the groundwork for this. And I think that's really clear that that's stated out loud, that Dash Force killed it. And, you know, I would love to see that proposal off the bottom of the charts right now, because of all the ones that mean something to us. You know, these guys have some really cool things going on. And when I see how Mark has done with interfacing with Feroz too during this campaign, man, it's just been a pleasure. So guys, I just want to say thank you again. And it's been a real big pleasure. And I hope it's the first of many. You know, I hope we can collaborate like this some more.
Yeah, I wanted to say just on the proposal and the money and stuff like that. Yeah, every month it's a struggle, because you don't know where the price is going to go, and I usually get a final draft 24 to 48 hours before it actually posts. And like this last time, I think it was around 215 when I completed the final draft. By the time I posted the thing, I think it was like the next day was like 235. But yeah, you have to, at some point, you have to just lock in the prices and just go for it. You can't just keep going back and forth. And I mean, I could have changed the price, and then the next day it would have gone down.
It is. But there's also, like, we're talking about a massive proposal here. So, I mean, I don't think people are realizing, but just the fact about just our lawyers needing to get together. I mean, that could be a $50,000 expense by the time we draft up this schedule. We get everything in place. You know, we've already sent a bunch of swag, I think, Mark, is that right?
Well, here's the thing. I'm in full promotion mode at the moment because the proposal's still going. So we had the Cointelegraph thing yesterday. I've got lots of other things going on, hopefully 2 more articles for Cointelegraph. So yes, there are lots of things that I'm not prepared to say yet, but yesterday I sent out $1,000 worth of Dash merchandise to both Stephen, Max, and Stacy. Hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, the lot. But I don't want to get into too much of the detail.
I only brought that up.
Signed.
Yeah, I only brought that up to let the people know that just because this price has increased, you know, we have a $500,000 ask here, but there's going to be lawyers' fees, there's going to be contract fees, there's merchandising, there's swag, there's a lot of potential things here, and we do intend to have a very, very transparent budget. That's why we're having this all done inside of a new company in Canada, so that we can have those financials be turned over if needed to potential parties. You know, this is the right play. This is the way it should be done, but it's also been lots of work, lots of calls to the lawyers, lots of, you know, talking to people, and they're billing you at $500 an hour or $650 an hour or $750 an hour. And, you know, we don't want to shy away from that, because those are the people that are protecting the Dash network and protecting our investment. But, yeah, thanks, man. I love my hair too. It's sick.
Yeah. And for all the people in the community that keep talking about Fluffy's appearance on the Kaiser report when he was at the Freedom Fest, this conversation with Max that I've been having has been going on for months, since the beginning of June. It's been going on for months. Initially, it was instigated on trying to get an appearance on the Kaiser report. In fact, I've been emailing RT press office since December on behalf of Amanda back then, when I was arranging guest interviews and stuff. So it's been an incredibly long process, and this opportunity just presented itself. But rather than just jumping straight into it, we wanted to know all the facts, breakdown. And we're all being very serious right now, but guys, we're making history. This is the biggest budget proposal in blockchain history, and $500,000 sounds like a lot of money, but flip the script a bit. Think about $500,000. This is going out and it's going to live forever on YouTube. It might even go to Netflix or something afterwards. We don't know, because RT only has the contract for 1 year. So basically, it's such fantastic value. So even if that $500,000 return on investment, Dash goes up 50 million, 100 million from it, you're already like putting your thumbs up. But there's so many things that are coming within this that I can't reveal, that I think are going to be so great for that. Look at the attention we're getting already. I'm speaking to people in Hollywood. I'm talking to big media press guys. This week has just been absolutely crazy. It's been 16-hour work days, just constantly on Skype, talking to people. I'm actually looking forward to the McGregor and Mayweather fight. It's like a light at the end of the tunnel, because it's just like a minute to get like a breath of fresh air. But I mean, it's just so
like you're gonna go outside.
Yeah, like
no.
I haven't been outside this week. That's how hard.
No, honestly, guys, like I have to tell you, like I've literally been texting Mark, have you gone outside today? Mark, have you gone away from your computer? Mark, have you eaten an apple? Mark, have you eaten a banana?
So like, in fact, late last night, I did about 9:36 p.m. my time.
So your article was due at 9:45, or?
No. I was doing some kind of a I made some sort of a announcement related to work, and then Mark was like, good to know. At that was what, 2:37 a.m.
I think it's about 3 in the morning.
I said, go to bed, dude. We can't have you dying.
Yeah, the same thing happened.
But that was 3 days in a row, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The same thing happened the day before that. I was like, well, I won't use the language I use, but yeah, he was told to go to bed.
Yeah, I mean, it's like almost like what's a weekend.
Past his bedtime.
Yeah, this whole week's been through. But the thing is, you gotta make stuff happen, right? And these opportunities don't always come about. So I'm just taking everything that I can. This is going to be so great for Dash, and people don't even know what's coming, and that's why I'm so excited. So I'm talking to press and all sorts of things. Now I can't guarantee anything right now, but there may be an appearance on Fox Business News next week with Stephen, we hope. So that would be great. And one thing I've got to say, and Stephen Baldwin, he's such a ball of energy, and he's such a great laugh. I really didn't know what to expect. And this guy, he's got so many ideas about Dash. This isn't just about the money for him. This is not at all. He gets it. He really does. And some of I had to get my notepad out, and I was just scribbling down. I was like, well, we can't do this now. This would have to be, honestly, guys, I'm really excited for the future. I really am. But because, look, I know I'm being a bit blasé and I'm not giving lots of details, but you have to realize this is a very formal process. I know we're informal on the Free Amigos podcast, but things have to be signed, legal documents, and I don't want to put myself in a position because we're dealing with the production company. People see Max Kaiser, Stephen Baldwin, but it's the production company, it's people signing the contracts and the agreements, right? This is the hard work that we're doing now. So most of it's done, but we just got to get that stuff done. But, you can't sign contracts until the proposal's passed, right? We don't know what position we're going to be in. So I'm in promo mode, and I'm pushing as hard as I can. And with the 10K giveaway as well, with the Conor McGregor fight, because there's a timeline on that,
Mystic Dash, baby. Mystic Dash.
If you go to actually, I'm going to share his Twitter now. So I'm sharing that in the live chat now. If you go to his Twitter account, just check it out. His feed is full of people that have downloaded Dash wallets, targeting a whole new audience. If you don't know who this guy is, he is the creme de la creme of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's like the head coach of GSP. If anyone's in MMA knows that, he's a champion, right? So this guy commands a lot of respect. And even he self-admits he's not tech savvy, and he's used things like Bitcoin and stuff before. And in his most recent video update on the competition, he downloads the wallet. He gets it. It's easy. It's simple. And in this Pure Victory Championship that he's promoting, Dash has inspired him to decentralize Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So There's 5 episodes up already, but so two fighters duel it out, and then the winner gets paid in crypto. So cryptocurrency, Dash, is changing the MMA sporting world, and this is just the edge. We're just scratching the surface. There's so much more, more great stuff to come. It's exciting times.
No, this is just the beginning. I was talking to Mark, I think it was Wednesday, just looking into the future. This is just the beginning of the marketing and stuff like that. It's going to get really crazy. Core, you know, that's going to ramp up here. The sooner we get to evolution and stuff like that, the crazier it's going to get. The money that we're going to have, Dash Core is going to have, the whole budget system in general is going to be insane. I mean, people, they're not going to, this is going to be the biggest, so much bigger than Bitcoin. People don't realize how big the things that are coming that's in the pipeline. It's going to get crazy.
Yes, I've said that before too, and I'm a little bit of a smack talker sometimes, but it's true. I keep on telling people.
Sorry if I spit on the screen.
But I keep on telling people. I just say don't. I just know it. It's going to be like a year or two from now. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh, what's this Dash? It came out of nowhere." It's like, no, it didn't. Have you been paying attention all along? In fact, I got an email from my own mother today, and she says, like, well, I read all these crypto investment things, and none of them mention Dash. What's the deal? And it's just like, well, they're just like, get all into Litecoin. It's like, no, do you realize that Litecoin had to fundraise a monthly budget of like somewhere around $11,000, right? Meanwhile, Dash is self-contained with over 2 million right now. And you're trying to talk about this other thing? Why? Like, just today, right? We just put out an article today. The site that we run, discoverdash.com, we list over 300 businesses around the world that take Dash. Find that listing for any other coin. You'll find something with like a coin map for Bitcoin has like a couple thousand or something, but very few of them are updated at all. And especially with like $8 fees, as we're seeing right now, $8 average Bitcoin transaction fee, who's still using Bitcoin, right? Dash is getting bigger than anything and has everything lined up, slow and steady, to go to the moon for real and not just like a momentary pump. And if you don't, some people, anyone who knows, who looks into it enough, they catch the bug. They know it's like, oh, this is going to be something big. And so at some point,
like the user in the live chat, I sold all my Bitcoin to buy Dash today. It's stuck in the slow network despite the high fees I paid. 48 hours, still not confirmed with $10 fee. He wants to move to Dash, but he can't even do it.
Yeah, a few cents. That happened. That actually happened to me. That was what broke me with Bitcoin. Was a few months ago. It was like 6 months ago, maybe. I tried to shapeshift the last of my Bitcoin to Dash, but before I could get it there, I'll get it into the wallet, and it was stuck for 2 weeks, and ended up accidentally double spending because it was 2 transactions, and one of them got unconfirmed, and the other one didn't, and it was a whole mess. And I had to use via BTC's transaction accelerator to get one of them through, and it was such a nightmare. And I've never had a technical problem with Dash. I'm sure people who've used it for many, many years might have run into like, oh, Dash Core Wallet, something or other. I don't know. But for me, it's always worked very smoothly. The only problem I ever had was during that big Sentinel upgrade, the Koinomi wallet. They didn't get their nodes synced fast enough, so I had like a week off of just not being able to move my Dash. That was Koinomi's fault, not Dash. Never had a bad experience with Dash, and I cannot say the same for virtually any other coin.
Yes, I tell you what, Joel did a fantastic article today about the Bitcoin fees. I enjoyed making the image for that. It wasn't much work. It was the epic fail facepalm image. $8 fees for Bitcoin. And straight afterwards, someone sent me a message in Jeff's homeland from Canada and say, yesterday I sent my buddy 20 Canadian dollars.
Are you sure it wasn't his guy?
So 16,
maybe it was his friend.
So $16 US, and the transaction fee was $4, people. So, and also as well, this is not hot air. He included the screenshot of the transaction ID to prove it. And this is why I said, Bitcoin, people say, oh, it's a store of value, but for businesses and users, it's no good as a medium of exchange. If with super high fees, no one's going to use it. So how can you be an alternative currency if you're, not better than the system that you're trying to replace? So slowly, this is going to resonate, and it will slowly trickle down, because I think when the split happened with Bitcoin Cash and segregated witness was integrated, I think a lot of Bitcoin users thought, wow, everything's going to be happy and fine, seeing what happened with Bitcoin, and it's not really playing out how they thought it was going to be. So I think it's going to be more fireworks than even before.
Yes. So I had a chat today, and hopefully we'll have the video out tomorrow. But I interviewed the CEO of Yours, who is they originally designed their platform for a Bitcoin micropayment for content creators, and then Bitcoin fees started to get high like a year or so ago, and then they started developing a payment channel thing where you could just deposit Bitcoin and then do micropayments through the channel. And then that became untenable, so they switched to Litecoin. And then recently now they switched to Bitcoin Cash. And just listening to all the stuff about what exactly segregated witness does and what it enables and what it didn't need to exist in order to enable, and also just not only the primitive state of payment channels and Lightning networks today, but just the limitations on their use. There is, under the ideal circumstances, Bitcoin working for small transactions with off-chain scaling, right, is years away. So this is I guess it's going to be a little bit catastrophic when the market realizes that Bitcoin's wearing no clothes, right? The emperor has no clothes. And I wish that Dash would be completely safeguarded against that. But unfortunately, we know how markets work. People are going to be like, oh, Bitcoin's broken, sell everything. But it's kind of sad for people who have grown up, who've in the crypto ecosystem, liking Bitcoin, just this is the first cool thing ever. And now you're seeing that sad state that it's in, that it's just not usable and won't really be usable for a long time, if ever. It's kind of sad.
Mm. Yeah.
Not mean to be a downer.
we should try and jazz it up. I feel we've been way too serious. We're not being our normal fun selves. So let's talk about the fight, because I'm looking forward to this thing. So what are your guys' predictions? Because me and Jeff were put on the spot.
Oh my God!
The TriStar Gyms
I have nightmares about that.
And look, I'm not MMA super fanboy. I don't, although it is boxing, don't forget. But yeah, so Brian, let's go with you first. What's your prediction on the fight? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I was watching the Embedded yesterday or last night, and I just looking at the size difference of McGregor and Mayweather. I was thinking third round. I don't know. McGregor may just maul him. It could be a first round knockout. I mean, he's just so much bigger, and Floyd's got such a small, tiny little head and those little glass hands. Yeah, he's got glass hands. I like the smack talking. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's ready for this. So it'll be. It's going to be fun. I don't know.
Well, my prediction is that for the first time ever, I'll actually watch a boxing fight, because traditionally they've been just too boring for me to care about. And I like UFC fights because there's a lot that can happen. You can do a lot of punches, the elbows, the spinning things, the kicks, you get takedowns, so many things that could happen. And then boxing is big pillow hands, just a lot of like and hug each other.
Back in the day, they were funner. Back in the Tyson days, Holyfield and the Sugar Ray. I mean, those were the days. I got one question that I have. I know it's probably it can't be. I mean, it can't work like this. You can't do like this is a stupid question, I know. So you can't do like a spinning back fist, right? I mean, it is it is a fist. It's not a kick. It's not an elbow.
Oh, I can't do backhands.
I think it depends on the boxing commission, right? This is the Las Vegas Boxing Commission, so they're probably the most relaxed boxing commission there is.
Let me text Faraz. Let me text Faraz.
Yeah, please do. Actually, I was just going to say, like, Jeff, like we're talking about fight predictions. I think there's a competition for that. Guy, Brian.
Oh,
Joel,
yeah. So
he's probably
fight
into
predictions. That. Have you guys entered for the $10,000 giveaway?
Yeah.
The Mystic Dash.
I did. I don't think. Hopefully, I'm not exempt. I originally said it would be a unorthodox uppercut in the 3rd round after McGregor kind of gets his timing. But like I say, after I saw that the embedded, and after they've cut the weight and everything, Mayweather's just so tiny. He's a tiny, tiny little boy.
Yeah, and besides that, if you see the Paulie Malignaggi video where he's just whacking on him, it's like there's a reason they call him Mystic Mac, because he's got that magic to him. It's like, and I've known people like that, like through all my sparring times and everything like that. There's always there's stuff that doesn't get caught on camera quite the way. It's like, why did that guy who's so tough lose to that other dude? There's things you can't account for, like timing, right? And I remember I used to, my old Taekwondo instructor's like in his 50s now, and when he was in his late 40s, another one of his students was much taller and much younger, was sparring him and just losing every time, and it looked like he was just being ridiculous. And I'm like, why are you like, you're faster than that, why is he hitting you all the time? He says, man, our instructor, he moves so slow, but everything hits. Like, it's not like he's just too fast. It's just the sense of timing, the sense of how to angle it, everything.
Precision, yeah. Anderson Silva, the spider Anderson Silva had that like in spades. I mean, McGregor's got it too, but Anderson Silva was like the master. He was like in the Matrix. Which, by the way, Anderson Silva said before he retires he wants to fight McGregor. Now that's going to be a tough one because Anderson's huge and McGregor's not quite that big. Anderson is like a couple weight classes higher, so they'd have to do like Anderson have to cut so much to go down to 170 or something that McGregor's fought at before. But anyway, yeah, so that's the thing, is this is one of those, like, to relate it back to cryptocurrency in a way, this is one of those things where the rules are kind of being remade. There hasn't been anything like this before. And there hasn't really been a strong MMA fighter, especially someone who's been experimenting all kinds of weird movements and upset his own sport, to go to a new sport and kind of do those things. And it's important to note that while he might not be like the best boxer in terms of boxing, he is primarily a puncher who has won pretty much all his fights through his punching capacity. And a lot of that translates directly into boxing. Like, the moves he's used have all been boxing moves, like boxing legal moves. And we really just don't know. And sometimes what it takes is someone coming from a different perspective to just move and do things in a different way that a boxer never really trains for, but is still permitted under boxing rules. Like, for example, I see with all the clinch work, when you see him just like clinch up, it seems like it's just like a hug to like, oh, I'm just going to hug you while I'm like breathing. Like, I don't want to get hit anymore. I'm going to hug for a second. And then, but in like Muay Thai, for example, and in MMA, you actually get in the clinch and throw people and move around and do clinch work. And while you can't quite do all that with boxing rules, you can kind of use the momentum with the clinch to disengage with a way that lets you pop that mystic left hand. And then there goes the little guy down to the mat. Crunch. Yeah, so you never know. Silva,
I'm not making predictions.
Silva, yeah, he's the master of that Muay Thai and the clinch, and yeah. So back in the day, Silva was the man. He's kind of, getting old now, and when he broke his leg, oh man, that was brutal.
That floppy thing. Oh, terrible.
Man, that was. Ooh.
That's what he gets for those little skinny spider legs, though.
So it's going to be funny next week when we do the next podcast to see whose prediction is right. Because I think it's going to go the distance and go to points. I really do.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that what McGregor said before, right after he whacked Eddie Alvarez in the second round. He said, he says, no offense, Eddie's a good fighter, but you gotta have some attributes. You kind of saw his speed, skill, something. You gotta have some attributes, man. And it's something. It's similar to where a boxer, I don't think, is going to ever just beat McGregor. You have to be magic like he is in some way. Now, I haven't watched enough of Floyd's fights. I know he's really, really good, but does he have that magic quality? Like, did McGregor get into his head does he have that impeccable extra sense of timing? And the thing about when the fighters get older is it's not just, for one thing, if you've been fighting all your life, you get old quick. And beyond that, there's always a cutoff age that's different for every fighter, where it's just like almost like a year. Over the course of that year, you go from the top of your game to just losing all over the place. It's hard, it's brutal, and it's fast. And that's happened with, I know BJ Penn went through that. He was just a total legend, creaming everyone. And then he just fell off the cliff. And Randy Couture held in until he's like 47 or something. It was pretty crazy. You just never know.
Henderson. Yeah, Henderson too. As soon as they get knocked out, get knocked out really bad, it seems to kind of go downhill from there.
That's the rumor. There's this rumor that Floyd Mayweather got knocked out in sparring leading up to this fight, which, rumors, just rumors. But
he hasn't taken a lot of damage over his career, though. He's known for his defense, and he
could be the wild card.
Yeah.
There's a question in the live chat. Just someone want to read it out, and I'll answer it.
No, it isn't. Don't read it out.
For which one?
Ice 32,000.
Oh, what do you guys know firsthand about Kaiser and Baldwin's thoughts on Dash? Do they own any, and how long have they been believers?
Kaiser owns Dash, from the Dark Coin days.
Yeah, and he's even posted and recommended it. Max Kaiser, a few months after Darkcoin Dash launched in 2014, he spoke about Dash on Kaiser Report, and that was when Dash was at $11. Fast forward to today, we're now over $300. He's always known about it. I've been in constant contact with Max, talking to him off and off each day. Today, throughout, this past week's just been constant. I just set him up before coming on to do a YouTube interview with another YouTuber, crypto channel. And I was, when we speak about Dash, and you guys know me, I'm a Dash maximalist. He knows, and I've had lengthy conversations with Stacey as well. When I first started speaking to Stacey, she was really interested in the DAO, and I was explaining how the whole governance system. They know no other crypto can do this, and I won't reveal what private conversations have been had. But to the extent, if you ask Max, why is Dash sponsoring this show, he would probably answer you because Dash is the first DAO and only self-funding and self-governing cryptocurrency. It's as simple as that. He knows his stuff. He's been talking about crypto since 2011, since Bitcoin was like free. And with Stephen Baldwin, you know what? Going into Skype chat with the production company and Stephen, I didn't know what to expect. You think Hollywood celebrity, but you know what? He's very
internet's cutting out.
He's jovial, and he was making jokes about funny internet money. But he really wants to embrace it. And he, honestly, guys, he was just like, send me the Dash hat, send me whatever you can, and he's just like, I want to know this stuff. And I don't even know if we're going to integrate some of the ideas into the TV show. But the director sending me email saying, Steve's just come up with this new amazing idea for Dash. We should do this. And he's playing with the Dash name, all that sort of stuff. He wants, we've had people today sending me messages. I've been flooded with messages all week, sending me messages saying, we should do this with the RV. We should get the instant drink machine on the RV, inside the RV. Or, I was joking with CoinGun today saying we should probably get like a Dash General Bytes ATM on the RV as well. But, there's so many options.
I knew a guy that had some Dash ATMs.
Yeah, if only I knew someone. Yeah.
Speaking of Dash ATMs, the Austrian company Cointed operates a bunch of ATMs around the world, like over 50, I think. And it was some confusion over which one supported which currency. And so I got my Austrian buddy to email them finally, and speak auf Deutsch, because I don't really speak. And the answer is yes, they all 50 of them, they all support Dash, because unlike something like just a straight up General Bytes machine, that the individual operator has to load it or whatever, the CoinTit exchange, which supports Dash, right, supplies the currency to all their machines. So that whole 50 locations on Discover Dash that we were talking about earlier today, that's probably more like 350, right? It's an extra 50 of them because there's
and that's really cool, because the General
all around
Bytes
Austria
ones,
especially.
Yeah, the General Bytes ones don't support buying from exchange yet directly for Dash. And so you have to basically be able to feed them with your own Dash.
Yeah.
I just want to address something quickly. I've had a lot of messages this week about Charlie Shrem, because they watched the video and they're like, Mark, it's the last week of August, or coming up to last week. Where's the Dash Pay card? Honest answer, you know me, I'm open, transparent. I don't know. I don't know you. Who are you? I emailed Charlie today just to ask for an update. The dashpaycard.com website is still not live. So I will give you an update as soon as possible. I'll probably tweet it out, right? And it'll go out on the Dash Force News Twitter, right? As soon as I hear something, update, whatever I can. Oh, and does someone want to talk about BitCart as well? I don't want to hog all the airtime.
Well, first I want to make a terrible joke about Charlie. Do you remember the Charlie the Unicorn YouTube videos? Especially looking at Jeff for this.
Oh, no? Man.
Do you remember those?
Sorry, I'm so tired, you guys. It's been a long week. I'm like sitting here.
Never mind. That'll be a joke for a different time. But yes, so as far as BitCart is concerned, apparently they're doing the 4.0 upgrade today. So the site has been, and I guess I can talk smack a little bit about it because of the upgrade it's getting. It has been a little ghetto for a while, right? It's been a little shady. They're just the way and they've grown by exponential leaps and bounds ever since integrating Dash and then going all Dash. Supposedly they do over $100,000 of volume per month. And they've had a lot of DDoS attacks and things like that have kept the site down. And so now they're just doing a complete site overhaul, and it should be live at some point today. From what I'm seeing, checking into it now, it looks like the same old BitCart as before. But supposedly the overhaul will include some sort of automation, which is really good news, because that means that you won't have to do all this waiting. You won't have to email the guy back, hey, this gift code didn't work. There won't be that many annoying things to deal with. But anyway, I hopefully will be talking to Graham in a couple days, and so you might see a nice, cool video interview before you know it. So stay tuned for that. Same bad channel. Hey.
Yeah, I just ordered a card just now for $100, and I don't see anything has changed. I'll have to wait till after the show to send the money.
It's much more than just a facelift of the website. There's big security changes that happen behind the scenes as well. At Dashforce, we use Trello for project management, planning things as well. But BitCart has one as well, and the team has greatly expanded, and they're just moving into their second phase now. They've got so many things coming up, basically like crypto. And these problems that were there accounting before were problems from its success. So these are good things, and they're such great ambassadors for Dash, because whenever I talk to anyone about crypto, right? 15% of Amazon.com with Dash. No one can compare with that. It doesn't matter even if you went. So whoever it is, whether they're interested in computer games, video equipment, laptops, or even buying their groceries, you can do that through Amazon and saving 15%. Simple, straightforward, no questions asked. You can't really compete with that. Who else has got anything like that? That's why he's doing over 100K business per month. It's probably going to go exponential soon.
As a Canadian, I just wanted to also mention coincards.ca. That's one that I've been using a little bit. I don't know if anybody's here or all the Canadian fans out there, boys and girls, if you're sitting at home.
There's a couple moose around here, I think.
Yeah. Why aren't people?
.ca. I like that one. I reached out to the owner actually and said, like, bro, please, bro,
bro, please.
Why don't you accept Dash directly? And he's like, oh, well, we'd use a plugin and we would love to. And so I'm talking to him and see if I can work on him getting some D's directly there. But for now, they support
get him the D.
So.
Shape
Pro, please.
Is it Canada only, Jeff, or is it?
I don't know if it is. It's just coin cards with an s.ca, and they let you buy gift cards. But I think it's mostly Canadian. Yeah, I mean, I grabbed a new egg one, and I tried I've just tried them out, right, just to see how they work, and I've actually been really impressed. The delivery is fairly quick. It's just mostly electronic delivery, so I don't think it has to be like if you were to buy from Newegg or something, you can, But yeah, so for the Canucks out there, coincards.ca.
Cool. If you're coming to the Dash conference in London, Graham will be there with all these things. I think he's bringing 12 people with him, and I think he might have a special announcement as well. So yeah, definitely.
So on the subject of BitCart, I'm not lobbying for any Mastodon votes anymore now that Dash Force proposal seems to be passing. And thank you very much for your continued trust in us. It seems like Graham has submitted a BitCart proposal for something around like $100,000 to advertise to Amazon.com shoppers that they can use Dash through BitCart to save 15%, right? And that a lot of the pushback he's been getting on that has been based on sometimes slower, spotty service on BitCart. But I really think that, especially if the website gets upgraded this weekend and the experience gets smoother, this is going to be pretty huge. Who doesn't want to save 15% off of Amazon, right? You can just get anything off of Amazon. In fact, here in New Hampshire, where I live, I could buy gas cards for Irving gas stations, which are everywhere, off of Amazon. So that means I instantly save 15% on gas for my car. That's pretty amazing.
I wish we had that here. I do Amazon, everything Amazon. I got a package earlier today.
Yeah, the only thing everything.
We should be, we had to think about this too. Because for people who are buying Dash, it does cost money to buy Dash. You do pay, premiums. You're going to pay probably 5% or something like that, close to it. Still, even if you're getting 10, 12%, that's good. But yeah, we need that whole, that's not just us, that's Bitcoin, everybody. The whole ecosystem needs, cheaper, faster, better on-ramps, and that'll increase everything faster. And we have the budget to do it, and it'll happen. It's all a matter of time. It's just going to get huge, much bigger from here.
Now, do you think there's any? I'm surprised people aren't getting bundles of Dash and then just buying loads of games consoles or equipment that's high in demand and then just selling it on eBay and making some money, because you're getting 15% of everything. I mean, I don't know what the
margins are still pretty tight. Yeah, I remember Roger Ver was talking about that for Purse, but that was back in the day when I and other people were probably getting like 30, 35% on Purse. Then you could do it. Yeah, 15%. You start getting into a lot of work. I guess, somebody could probably make it work.
Yeah, 15%, especially if you get money that keeps going up in value. And that seems to be, whenever I hear all the Bitcoin hype going around, people are like, oh, just get into Bitcoin. There's a whole bunch of new people saying, oh, we want to get into Bitcoin. The big reason they're doing it is it's like an investment. It's like gold. It keeps going up. And it doesn't matter the fundamentals. It doesn't matter what's behind it, what's making it go up, or what made it go up to begin with. That's what they care about. And Dash goes up and has been remarkably stable, even kind of compared to Bitcoin lately, right? So that could be something. You just, hey, why don't you get a big chunk of your money in Dash? It's going to go up. I mean, it's not a guarantee, which I know a lot of people, like especially Ryan Taylor, CEO of Dash Core, does not want us promoting Dash as something to make money off of, right? The thing is, compared to the US dollar, it probably will go up, or at least that's what I'm betting on with, my future and fortunes. And there's very solid fundamentals that are behind that reasoning. But, the end result is it'll go up. And my thinking is, if I keep everything I own in Dash, or just about everything, if I keep a lot of my stuff in Dash or crypto, it's going to go up. And as long as I can spend it, I can afford to have a larger amount in Dash. So as long as I buy stuff off of Amazon with some savings with BitCart, I can keep just about everything in Dash, right? A lot of people, you got your rent to cover, you got some other bills, you got your going out to eat or whatever. And if you don't have a debit card or something that converts Dash, that's different. But if you can buy a good chunk of your stuff with Dash, you can afford to keep more of it in Dash.
I buy gift cards. Yeah, I buy gift cards all day on Amazon with gift card. I eat on them. I mean, there's Firehouse Subs is excellent. I mean, you can get Red Lobster, Olive Garden, Wendy's, Taco Bell, all the just yeah. There's a lot of you can. I use that service just constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many good things we can do with that, and all these things will be. For me right now where I live, because I have a strong local community in New Hampshire, I can buy pretty much most of what I want with Dash. Like, for example, I have a freezer full of organic chickens that I bought with Dash, and pork and bacon and stuff. I do. I got my hair cut with Dash. I buy some of my booze with Dash because there's a local brewer who takes it. Like all that kind of stuff. Like I can get a whole lot of cool stuff with Dash, but not everything. So a lot of cool stuff, and then I can use Bitcart for the rest. Other people might not have that luxury, so services like Bitcart are the thing that make you be able to spend your Dash, right? And always discoverdash.com. You might be surprised. You might have a service that's right in your area that you end up using a lot that takes Dash. And always, that's the thing I learned. I mean, I've been working on Bitcoin adoption for the longest time, and then, that kind of fizzled out for reasons we're all very intimately aware of. But eventually, this is a peer-to-peer kind of thing. It's a person-to-person. If you believe in what you do, right? If you believe in cryptocurrency, if you know why you trust it to go up in value, you should be able to make that case to local people, right? You should be able to make that case to local businesses, and you can develop a personal one-on-one relationship with a business owner and tell them why this is beneficial to take Dash, and then there you go. And I mean, just want to give a shout out, Tao Satoshi, the guy who runs Dash Nation Slack. He recently flipped this local business. It's a Dr. Dip's custom vehicle coatings in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And that's, dips for cars and stuff to weatherproof them against the inhospitable weather. But yeah, they take Dash now because, he's a hardcore evangelist and he just talks a lot about Dash. And he talked to his a business that he uses, right? So there you go. Now inexpensive is in Dash. I remember I had a local mechanic here in New Hampshire a few years ago, just some guy who was really good, really cheap. I talked to him about Bitcoin one time. Next time I went to see him, he was already mining it for some reason. And so I got him to take Bitcoin. And just from that personal conversation, it's like, wow, this is cool. So it's not as hard as you think. You look around you and you're like, oh, no, nothing takes Dash. Oh, it's terrible. No, well, why don't you get some work done? You go talk to some people. Hey, would you take it for this? If you can make that case, you never know. You might create your own little micro community that's just self-sustaining, and then from there it just launches out.
That's kind of cool. I'm jealous of all the stuff y'all got in New Hampshire, but I did want to bring up. I told Joe, our review writer, that I would mention his article about. I don't know if y'all read it, about the trade shows and stuff. It's a really interesting article, stuff I never did think of before. But there is a question of, this was with Core and everything else about the marketing and how much we should do. And with that meetup, the merchant adoption, advanced merchant adoption meetup contest that we did last month, I learned a lot about just how much we still have to grow as far as the point of sale software and stuff like that. So I definitely, I guess we should discuss how much we should really focus on onboarding new businesses, the brick and mortar types. I definitely online, although our point of sale software still needs work in that area as well. But I think we should probably focus on crypto centric type people with like the brick and mortar. I mean, we should do everything, but I think Core has a point about kind of waiting for the mass push on that until evolution is out, or at least until we have better point of sale solutions.
Yes, absolutely. And there are a few ways we can get that sort of stuff done in advance. Obviously, there's a certain, not all businesses and business owners are equal, right? There's some that, for example, when Alt 36 comes out, that's going to be a great selling point to the legal cannabis industry. And that's something could absolutely crush and take to market instantly as soon as that is out and ready. And on the other hand, any online businesses, you can do coin payments. There's a bunch of other different processors. CryptoWoo is a WooCommerce plugin that takes Dash. There's a bunch of things you can do online. Online is set. Now, as far as local, small brick and mortar businesses, that's trickier. The trickiest thing is a local medium-sized business, right? Like the pub that has where the owner isn't there a lot, right? It's just like too busy. Like they got a lot of overhead. They need to be able to pay their people with whatever they're paid with, right? That stuff is a hard sell. But if you get the smaller thing, like the owner, the coffee shop, we have like an owner that you can see there, you can talk to them about it. And then they're like, well, how do I take Dash, or how do I turn it into dollars? Well, you can tell them you can either save it, or here's stuff you can spend it on. Or if you just want to get rid of it, I'll buy it off you, no markup, no nothing, or even a 1% markup, whatever. You can offer to buy that from them within reason. I know some, like the co-host of Free Talk Live out in Keene does that with Bitcoin, and he's poised to start doing that with Dash soon too, to just offer to businesses. He says, look, if whatever you don't want your Bitcoin, I'll buy it off you. I'll just take it off your hands. I'll give you cash for it. What's better than that? And then he goes and sells it on local Bitcoins at a slight markup, right? Then not everyone can have that sort of hustle, but if you have your local favorite coffee shop, restaurant, whatever, if you just say, I want to pay you in Dash, I'll tip you extra if you do it. And if you just don't want your Dash for whatever reason, I'll just buy it off you. And then there you go. And you just keep doing that. And if you do a hyper-local thing, hyper-local is ready for Dash right now, right? Online is ready for Dash right now. It's that middle ground where you got kind of larger businesses. They kind of need an efficient point of sale system. So that's kind of the part to hold off on. But work on your online, and work on your hyper local, and work on your crypto folks.
Yeah, Albert had our newest member had brought something about that. He's going to do a meetup. I think he's going to put that in action about just kind of jump starting them, like offering to buy the Dash back from the merchants. Make it easier for them. It's a great idea. Excellent idea.
Yes. Brian. So I should just let you all know 2 videos to look for. If you go to this channel, right, the channel you're on, there's an interview with Scott Farnsworth of Dash Aerosports, and one with Ian Freeman of Free Talk Live. If you look at those 2, you should have just about all the insights you need in order to start hitting the pavement right now to start trying to get businesses taking Dash.
Okay, I was just going to say, Brian, there was a comment in the chat for you. It's not a serious comment, but it's from Anya, and she says, "Oh, that dog." So
I like dogs.
I forgot the name of your Labrador. But
he was at the vet. He was at the vet. You can see they shaved him. He had a place in his back. You can see it. It's like white.
We'll have to get him like a Dash, like bandana to like put around, like make him the Dash dog mascot.
Yeah, he's got some. Yeah, he's got a really bad sore though. I'm treating it and trying to heal it up. He's on antibiotics. Man, I forgot to give him his antibiotic last night. I gave him one of them. Sorry, lad. Sorry, buddy.
Which, by the way, there is a place right here in New Hampshire where you can buy Doge pillows with Dash.
I still got one of those original Doge car shirts in the bag.
Yes, which, by the way, I was at my local coffee shop that's walking distance from where I am right now a few weeks ago, and I was just there having coffee, and some cyclist comes in with like a cyclist outfit that has like Dogecoin stuff all over it. And apparently Dogecoin sponsored this guy a long time ago. I looked him up on all that stuff, but that was very, very odd. Just see like a Dogecoin sponsored person walk into the coffee shop.
That time warp.
Yeah, that's pretty retro.
But that's happening though now. Like you're going from never seeing anybody with any swag on, or never knowing anybody you could even talk to about anything, to having like 5, 6, 7 people want to get together and talk crypto, or having like all these different things. Like that's something I've really noticed big this year. Is I used to struggle just to find anybody to talk to crypto about, and now I can usually, anybody wants to talk about it. They're really excited to do it. So there's been definitely a shift coming, at least inside of the space. People are willing to open up a bit more.
The meetups are growing pretty big, pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the early mid days of Bitcoin when the momentum started get going. The energy was insane. It just before we hit that brick wall, and unfortunately, that momentum is just kind of went away. It didn't largely redirect to other coins, and I think Dash is starting to get a little spark of that energy right now. And when that really turns back into the flood that was the Bitcoin energy, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, last week, Mark, he had said something about the price. It was like 200 and something bucks, and he said something about 300, and I kind of interrupted him and said 350, and I think we hit right in the middle. It was about 325, so it was perfect.
Great minds, eh? It's just true. I'm like, we're not pumping, we're just telling it how it is. All you need to do is just look what's happening out there. When I go on Twitter every day and I just see that the Dash movement is real. Jeff will tell you need to join the real money team.
Real money team, RMT, baby.
Yeah, forget Mayweather, the money team. You need to get with the real money team. Get with Dash Digital Cash. Don't forget it.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny on the subject of real money versus not real money, and Floyd in particular, back in the early press conferences that were really over the top trying to hype the fight, when he has that, was it $100 million check or whatever, he's all just talking smack with it in front of the microphone. It's like, look, all you're holding is a piece of paper that just says that this
promise
is going to send you little digits of like a made up piece of paper currency that literally the government just makes more out of thin air for no reason at whim. And it's like, this is like real money. This isn't yours. Even when it goes to you, it's not yours. They could just take it away or just print a bunch more, and then who cares? Like, it's just like that swag around the check. It's like, that is fake. Like, this is what the world runs on, but it's like the fakest of money. And people are like, well, this crypto stuff seems like weird, funny money. Nah, come on, get your head straight.
So this is it. And Joel touched on this earlier on. So he was saying basically by holding Dash, he's betting against the dollar because the dollar's inflationary, right? But there's only a set amount of coins that are ever going to exist for Dash. So I first, before I was involved with Dash Force and I was getting Dash, I was looking at my local banks in the UK and see what's going on with savings accounts. Don't really trust what's going on in the stock market. But when you look at alternative currencies like gold, silver, and other things as well, you've got to take a position and you've got to look to your future, right? No matter what stage you're in life, whether you're a student, whether you've got a family, or whether you're just starting your work life, you have to think ahead. And for me, Dash has worked out so great. And yeah, I think with everything in life, you should be diversified on a serious point of view. But if you want to get technical with it, just bring up the USD chart and check the purchasing power of the chart. The dollar's lost 99% of its purchasing power since the Federal Reserve came into power in 1913. So it's just, you see the chart, it's just like, boom. So, look at the interest rates that the banks are offering you now. You're losing out to inflation just by having your money in the bank. It's a stealth tax. So people are waking up to this, and the younger generation, the online generation, I think really get this, and they're just seeing the opportunity because this generation, last 10 years, they've never really had saving accounts. They don't know any different, right? So yeah. People talking about house crisis and all that sort of stuff, they worry about their future, but they see the future in crypto, and that's why it's a money revolution. It's a banking revolution. Technology has changed the way we work, the way we live, but it hasn't changed money. We're still dependent on third party. We still have counterparty risk, external people. It's time to take back control. It's 2017.
Of course. This is my woke moment that I'm just going to drop a mad woke bomb, right? Is for so many of our parents and our grandparents built up in this current system, and this current system has gotten entrenched parties that have ended up taking a lot of value and opportunity from the young people. And I know so many young people, again, I'm not turning 30 a week from today, so I'm not quite as young anymore. But people my age and younger have so few prospects. I remember people in their early mid 20s, like my parents, getting married, buying a house, all this kind of stuff. And then the young people just can't do any of that. And just the thought of how am I going to afford healthcare and how am I going to afford to make sure I don't get injured or die is just like a big topic. And how am I going to afford all this kind of stuff, insurance coverage, all this, like, it's so intimidating for the random person, the average person in their 20s, even late 20s, right? And then here you go with crypto, which anyone can kind of get some. You don't need to talk to your stockbroker or whatever. It's nothing weird like that. You can just get some, have it in your phone, write down some backups, whatever, and then it just goes up over time. And then if you want to get, for example, with Dash, if you wanted to get a masternode share, it's just as simple. The first time I experimented with that with Moo Cow Moo, it was almost disconcerting, right? That just how simple it was. Just, hey, here's how you verify it's me, send it to this address, and then there you go. Really? That's it? And over time, it just, like, now you can actually save money. It's not like a US dollar savings account, which gives you nothing, right? Now you can actually save money. Your value goes up every month. It's something that larger players in the old financial world can kind of have with different funds and trusts and things like that. And but when you're just a kid with like a simple paycheck, what do? You can't. That world of actual financial solvency is inaccessible to you. So
yeah,
I knew this kid who used to. I used to work with him. He's like, I think 19 now. Just going to college. I gave him some Dash, and then like now it's about double what it was when I gave it to him. And he's all psyched about that stuff. I hope he gets in a bad way, because there's just only so much. He had a business. He was a hustling kid, right? He was selling motorcycles and dirt bikes, and he got shut down by the government because he was supposed to sell 4 a year maximum without having like a showroom and all this other kind of stuff and a license to sell and all this stuff. And he sold like 4 over the span of like a week or two. And he just he was, I think, 17 at the time. A young entrepreneur just got crushed. It's like, well, where does that leave you? And it's important for especially young people who have a lot more flexibility and a lot fewer prospects to get into something that will make them be able to be okay in their mid to older age.
Speaking of the government crushing people, Floyd holds up that check for the $100 million and brags that he hasn't cashed it. Well, that's because he's got tax problems. He's got government issues.
And this was from an old fight, right? How many years ago was that fight?
I don't know.
So if he put money in that, so that money's lost value over time through purchasing power. So I know my words may have seemed strong before, but you probably guessed by my accent, I'm in Europe. But you try telling people in Cyprus, Venezuela, where banking crisis, when stuff really gets real, and you go to the bank and you go to the ATM, there's no money there. When we saw in India when they're changing up notes, when things happen around the world, people need this solution. We're quite lucky in some of the Western world, that we are right now, but that doesn't mean that that's never going to happen to us.
Yeah.
And we've seen when those things play out, no one helps out. No central banks, not even the IBS, the central bank for central banks, they won't help you out. So people say, oh, gold and silver. You try spending your gold and silver online and just look what happened in Cyprus. And this isn't old. This is not decades old. This is recently, right? So this is real.
It's a figment of, it's a part of my life too. I mean, I grew up in Mexico during the 90s, during the peso crisis. And like I have coins that are 100,000 pesos or whatever, and they just chopped off the zeros when they reissued them. And I was in Romania just when they were switching from the old lei of 100,000 lei to like just chopped off the zeros to 1 lei. And it's just like, for people of the US, UK especially mindset, it's easy to think, oh, well, pound sterling, it's always going to be good for something. It's like dollars. Oh, the dollar's solid. It's great. It's the same as all this other stuff that people in less powerful countries, they just dealt with their crisis. Their crisis comes a lot quicker and easier, but it's coming here too. It's so you have to just realize that you need something real. And that's also, I mean, it's not just, well, you just throw money into crypto and it's going to be okay. It's also why you need to do your research, because people are just seeing with Bitcoin, it has that momentum behind it. It has that momentum that people think it's going to last forever. Oh, this is solid. Look how it keeps going up. It's great. But then you're not seeing the behind the scenes about how Bitcoin already split in two and might split in two again. Transaction fees are $8. The miners that run the network, almost 50% of almost half Bitcoin's hash power left to Bitcoin Cash. I mean, and some of them went back, and it goes back and forth, but it's just insane. And if you're just looking at that like, it's going to be fine forever, it's pretty much the same as if you're looking at the dollar like it's going to be fine forever with $20 trillion in debt and growing. It's, do your research, guys. This is
it's not like stuff. We hate banks. That's not what you're just saying. Half the world's adults don't even have bank accounts. We're just saying, look at the solutions and stuff that Dash provides. Cryptocurrency is going to change the world. This is why we already got into this, because we just saw it as a revolution. It's a disruptive technology. It's like, cryptocurrency, like that. Comparing Dash to the legacy banking system is like comparing the fax machine to email. That's how different it is. So, and there's so many people in the world, in the third world, that this would revolutionize the way they live, everything else. It make things so much, and even stop tyrannical governments and all that stuff, because it gives them back control. If you believe in independence, liberty, freedom, you should be embracing these ideals. And you know what? If you don't have a bank account, you should be listening to people like Jeff, who's trying to help you out with these 10K giveaways and downloading these Android or Apple wallets, and then you can get involved in it. So.
And can I just say one thing on that? I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I won't say his whole name, but I'll call him Steven.
Not Baldwin.
Steven is a unique fellow. He's smartest guy, very smart guy.
Most of us tend to be.
And Steven has a family of bankers. And so I said to Steven, do you own any Bitcoin yet? And he went on a 10-minute rant about how he couldn't take any risk, and he's been growing up in this risk-averse family, and blah, 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 blah. And so I waited for him to finish because I'm nice. And Steven. And I said to him, okay, but why can't you just set up an exchange account? Why can't you buy $50 in Bitcoin? Why do you have to assume that just because you need to get into Bitcoin, you need to do it with $10,000 or $20,000? I was like, it literally costs you zero money to go to an exchange, set up an account, and go through the KYC, take $100 out of your bank account and stick it up there. Then withdraw it again if you want. But why not just get prepared, set up your accounts for these exchanges, go through the KYC, and then if you ever want to get into Bitcoin, or if Grandpa Banks ever figures it out that maybe there's another way, at least you're going to be prepared, and you're not going to be sitting here in October when Bitcoin's rallied to 10 bajillion, Dash is at the moon, and we're getting ready to board the thing to Mars, Mark and I. Why can't you just...
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? This is what I can't understand. Those people
why can't you just set up the accounts? Like, what's the big deal? Just go set up an account. Frick.
If they're so smart, they should look at what's happened in recently, just the banking crisis, which wasn't that long ago. Right? So 97% of the money, fiat money, is digital. So when there's a banking crisis and what's called bank runs, everyone goes to the bank to try to get the money out, there's only 3% physical. It's actually less than that, but that's what they say. So there's never enough money to go out. So this is why when people say, well, bankers and investment companies like trading the Forex market, because for that reason, 97% of it's digital because it's most liquid. They can trade it. It's nice and easy. But when it comes to the people in time of crisis, there isn't actually the physical to distribute. So even though your bank balance says it might be this, when everyone's queuing up for that ATM, that money's not going to be there. You need to wrap your head around that. And if you don't believe me, look at whenever there's been currency crisis, whether it's been in South America, there's been many. In Russia, there's been many. I used to live in Thailand, and there was a bit of a problem there. When I was there, and you don't have to look far. Just look what's happened to other countries before. You can it's always play by play. They just shut the banks for a few days, and you never get any pre-warning, nothing at all. So it's not to sound like doom and gloom, But it's just when you hear these financial people and they talk about this kind of way, it's just like, well, look what happens elsewhere. And we know we're on a fine line. We just look at the deficit. I think what's the America's like 20 billion in debt. What's the population of America? Was it like 330 million? Do the math.
20, I think it's 20 trillion.
20 trillion. 20 trillion. So what did I say? Billion. Sorry, 20 trillion. 20 trillion and 330 million population. So
that's a lot.
Just think about it. If you're having kids now and you've got a family, your kids are being born into debt. They probably own like what $60,000-$80,000 of debt as soon as they're born. So like, just think about it.
Yes, and this is an important thing to think about. There is a certain generation of crypto enthusiasts who sort of view crypto as an exclusive club, like it's them and their friends that they just buy Bitcoin. They're the smart ones. Oh, they know, and they get up, and they trade all these other coins. And if this is powerful, which I believe it is, and if you're into crypto, you should believe in it, right? You should get as many people on it as possible. It's not like there's going to be it's not like there's that limited supply of crypto because it's so divisible. It's not like you can't all participate in this. And I believe you have a responsibility. I believe every one of us has a responsibility to get involved in the crypto economy, not just having some, but using it, right? Having a recurring way of getting some, using it and holding it, and get as many other people on it as possible. Because when everything crashes, whoever's holding on to whatever's crashing just goes down with it. You don't want your friends and family and people like that going down with the ship, right?
Yeah.
You owe it to them. You owe it to anyone you care about, including just a random stranger on the street if you care about them. You owe it to anyone to try to make the world a better place for them too. And the tools for a better world are here today. They're getting better by the day, but they're already here. Just do your part. Help other people out. If you're already smart and out of this, bring everyone else with you. There's room for everyone aboard the Dash train to the moon, you know?
That's why I love the master nodes and getting payments from them. It's just constant. I mean, I guess people do mining have a similar thing. I'm not a miner, despite the name.
No, that you are, though, because a lot of people don't consider their master node rewards to be mined. But look in your wallet. What does that?
Yeah, it is mine. Yeah,
you're a miner, dude. We're all miners together. We just mine with a different way. We're not hashing. We're securing, I guess. So I think it's important because if master noders are miners. Absolutely.
Anyway, in the future, even it's going to be even more so with all the roadmap plans. Okay, we got to wrap up. We're getting close, but I did want to say, somebody just said, yeah, with the if you look back to the Max Kaiser thing, if you look at his Twitter and Baldwin's Twitter, they've definitely been bitten by the Dash bug. And this is going to continue beyond, especially with Kaiser, beyond just this proposal. I mean, he's going to have it in his head now. I'm sure he'll bring it up more. He'll become more and more familiar with it. He'll be, he's going to be an evangelist. So the repercussions or whatever are going to go way beyond just this one proposal.
Liability per taxpayer is $890,156. Is that what my child in the States is being born with for debt? I understand that.
Well, yeah, this is what I can say. We're not BSing you.
You're born into the world $1 million in the hole.
Yeah, so this is the crazy thing. So this is what actually got me to take Bitcoin seriously, because in 2013, when the Cyprus issue hit, if you look at the charts, Bitcoin at that time was just trailing, not really doing much, and then it boomed up to like $40. Now Cyprus is like 0.01% of the European Union, right? And when I saw it had that much impact, and we all know what's going on with the world right now. There's a war on cash. The currency crisis is not over. That's why we still got QE and all sorts going on. So yeah, when I saw that, I was just thinking, well, if that had that much impact then, this is just the future now, because that's just what's going to happen. And that's what made me take Bitcoin seriously and start this whole big journey, start Bitcoin business, and eventually where I am right now. So yeah, man, it's been crazy. And with regards to Max, I'm not forcing him to do any of this press, right? He's not. We haven't signed any contracts yet he's willing to do articles, interviews with articles, YouTube things that I set up for him and stuff. He's more than willing to do it. So like anyone that has any doubt, just as Brian said, just check out the Twitter feed. I don't even need to educate him about Dash. He already knows.
He's going to get deeper and I can see him getting deeper and deeper. He's going to be a Dash maximalist before you know it. Somebody wrap us up.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. We have the fourth Amigo on as usual. Hopefully we'll change it up again because it seems like he's trying to trick us into thinking he's a new guest every time with a new thing like a hat and now crazy hair. But maybe we might have an actual fresh guest. Not that we don't enjoy having you on.
It's growing it for me.
We've just been calling this the Three Amigos for too long, and even though you're our friend and our buddy and our guy, we Anyway,
I see how it is.
Yes, keep up the good fight, everyone. This is the beginning of a massive journey to global change on an unprecedented scale. You never know what's going to happen 10 years from now. 1 year from now, the whole world could be different. So keep your heads down, work hard, spread that Dash, and we'll be in a new world before we know it. So have a good week, guys. And as usual, keep tuning into everything Dash Force News puts out because we're going to start ramping up stuff.
Real money.
So
team.
Next week, same bad time, same bad channel, right, Brian?
Money team.
Yes,
Real money team.
Real money team. Peacing out.
Real money team.
Bye.
Real money team. Real money team. Real money team.